Hi, today I'm interviewing Octavia Landix. She's a producer, songwriter, and an audio engineer. Hi, Octavia.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, we want to know how you got started with music.
Well, I've always been a music junkie. I just love all different types of genres of music. It started when I was 15. I always had an infatuation, actually younger than that. When I was a kid, I remember my mother having an organ in our house. I don't even know how she got it in there, but it was in my bedroom. And I would always just bang on the keys as a kid. It wasn't on, I'd just bang on the keys. And as I got older, I just had this obsession. I wanted to learn how to play piano, like specifically piano. And so when I got my freshman year in high school, then I actually took a piano class and started learning a little theory, playing, you know, little cheesy tunes, and then I kind of just progressed from there. I asked my dad to purchase me a keyboard and for Christmas, and then I started playing on that, and I started listening to songs on the radio that I loved, and I would figure out how to play the bass lines, and I would figure out how to play the keyboard parts or the melodies, and I would pull the song apart and I would put it back together. Nice. And I just really started out really that way. And then I found a recording studio. I was always in the recording studio, and then I went to school to study my instrument more, which was piano, like I said, and I studied out of state. And then I just always wanted to be around, infused in music, just around people who did music. And so I decided to then go to audio engineering school because I wanted to be a better producer, in all honesty. When I think of some of the best producers, like they're engineers, you know, like Dr. Dre, like he's an engineer. I love Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, like they know engineering. Quincy Jones knows engineering. He's a composer, you know what I mean? So it's just knowing how to speak the language of being an engineer, and it makes you a better producer. Doesn't mean I have to engineer everything, but that's pretty much how I got started, and things just kind of trickled from there.
Oh, nice. So after producing on your little keyboard, over to producing in DAWs and professional studios, how did you go from that little keyboard over to something big like that?
I did some research because I was a little more hungry. I wanted to learn more, and I came across a few studios in my area, and I started to learn different DAWs. And the first DAW I actually ever worked on and recorded a song on was Digital Performer 5. It's very, very old.
Okay, never heard of.
I think they might still be around. I'm not really sure, but I don't see them in any studios anymore.
So have you studied any audio engineering or music production, and if so, where?
I did. I went out of state to Berklee College of Music. That was in 2007. And I went there to study music production. And also being a student there, they do make sure that you know your instrument. So I had to really, really hone my chops on my piano and my music theory. And then I came back home, some years passed, and then I got into a trade school, which was SAE, Audio Institute of Technology, and I got my diploma there in audio technology.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
In the business of audio engineering and production, it's very common that you have internship. Have you had any internships?
Yes, I have. I've had quite a few internships. My first one was with Amela Rue. I was very young. I didn't know what an internship was, what to expect from it. But it was my very, very first one, got my feet wet. I messed up a lot in that internship. But Amelia Rose, she's very, very kind, very, very sweet. She was a little too sweet sometimes with me because I just messed up. I was like, oh my God, I was like, she's gonna fire me. But I never got fired. Then my second internship was from some friends of mine who were from the Baltimore, Maryland area, and they came to Los Angeles, started pretty much from nothing, and they got a recording studio, and they're like, look, we're here, we're about to make this thing happen, and we need an intern. And they offered it to me, and I took it. And being there, I learned so much about being organized. When you're in the hot seat of whether you're producing or engineering something, you have to be able to receive information quickly, and you have to be able to produce information quickly, because you don't want the client to get mad or get impatient. Like, you just have to really, really be on your toes. And so, especially when you're doing large sessions. So I learned that at that particular internship, like, and I'm very, very anal about files managed. Like, it just has to be a certain way because I deal with a lot of big files, and I've gotten a lot of bigger clients since then. My last internship was with Rodney Jerkins at Capitol Records. And being in that environment, I was able to really see professionally how to really conduct writing sessions, how to deal with different clients, and understanding how you complete a radio hit ready song. Like the process of actually producing big records, I was able to see and witness being in his camp.
Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. What a great school.
Yeah. It was I loved being there. Like, it was just awesome. I would drive from, at the time I lived in Dominguez Hills, and I would go from there to Hollywood, to where he stayed at, which was really, really far up the 101. I won't say where he lives, but I would have to go there for sessions late night. It was just I just loved being in the environment.
Oh, nice. You got some really great internships.
Yeah.
And so I can tell it's really important.
It's absolutely important.
Yeah.
It's like you just kind of have to pay your dues. You have to be willing to get in. And when people see that you're dedicated and that you're hungry, then you don't know what it could turn into. You just don't know what the opportunity will turn into. And then, a lot of people are in the same circles. So I've seen people from some of those sessions being here. And they'll be like, hey, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, what's going on? It's just, you just never know what it could turn into.
Nice. Really, really nice. What's the first biggest studio session you ran on your own?
It was for Top Dog Entertainment. The sessions were for Kendrick Lamar here. And I was very, very nervous. The owner, he said he couldn't do it. It's just one of those moments where it was like I said, you don't know what something could turn into. And he was like, I can't do it. I have something else I have to do. Do you want it? And I was like, yes, I want it. And I was nervous, but for 2 weeks, they had a block out for 2 weeks. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing it. Like, I'm doing it. That was my very, very first biggest recording session I've ever done.
Nice. What genre of music do you produce the most?
The genre I produce the most is hip hop, pop, and R&B music. With the little fusion twist on it, but the most, yeah.
What do you like the most about your work?
I like that I'm able to do what I'm passionate about, what I love to do, work. It's funny even saying work. It doesn't feel like work. It's just, even on a bad day, I love what I do. So I love being in the environment that I'm passionate about. I love every moment of it. I love meeting new people. I love being inspired by different people's creativity. I'm always learning something new every time. I never feel like I've arrived. I feel like in this industry, if you come to a place where you feel like you've arrived, I think you're at your end, because it's always evolving. Music is always evolving. It's always changing. This industry is always changing.
As a voice coach and a singer, I want to ask you, Octavia, how would you treat me during my first recording session if I never ever recorded in a studio before?
So the first thing I would do is I would ask questions. It's important for me to know like what your background is, to make sure that I understand, what to possibly expect and what I can do to better help make you comfortable. So I would let you know that I'm going to adjust, the mic stand for you. I'll make sure your headphone levels are okay. Make sure your levels are okay going into whatever DAW we're using. So make sure that you're reassured that this is a professional facility, and that you can also ask me questions. So I don't want you to feel like you can't ask questions or you're too tense or anything, because if you're uncomfortable, it will affect the take.
Yes.
And we do not want anything that we're recording to sound like it's not authentic. The goal is to be able to make a great song, and my goal is to make sure that you also sound as great as possible.
Nice. Thank you.